In the past 5 years, I've helped over 50 e-commerce brands generating millions in revenue. And I've discovered one undeniable truth. Most Shopify stores are missing out on 25 to 40% of revenue simply by neglecting their email marketing. And while everyone obsesses over Facebook and TikTok ads, the channel with the highest return on investment, email marketing, sits underutilized or is poorly implemented. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how you can scale your e-commerce brand from $0 to $1 million simply by using email marketing as your secret weapon. No fluff, no theory, just the exact roadmap that we've used at Magicianly to generate an additional thousands and thousands of dollars of revenue over 50 plus e-commerce brands. So if you're running a beginning Shopify store, what I'm about to share could make the difference between struggling with rising ad costs and building a truly profitable and scalable business. So let's dive into it. First of all, your email marketing setup. So you need the right tool for this job. And while there are many platforms on the market, Klaviyo is hands down the best platform, especially for Shopify stores. So why Klaviyo? First of all, it connects directly to your Shopify store in just a few simple clicks. It automatically pulls in all your customer data. It's specifically designed for e-commerce stores, unlike general platforms like MailChimp. And it's easy to use even if you're not tech savvy. And setting up Klaviyo is simple. You just create an account at klaviyo.com, you connect it to your Shopify store via their app, and you import any existing customer emails that you already have. And that's it. This basic setup only takes you 10 minutes. So don't overthink this step. Just get Klaviyo connected to your Shopify store so we can move on to the more important stuff. And now you have Klaviyo set up, you now need email subscribers. So let's talk about list growth. And many new store owners make the stupid mistake to not focus on list growth starting day one. You want to make sure that you collect as many email addresses as possible as soon as possible. And the simplest and most effective way to collect email addresses is with something that we call a pop-up sign-up form. And here's one that just simply works and will convert 6 to 12% of your website traffic. So this is an example sign-up form for Nike. So what you see in here, before we ask for the email address, we say, hey, you've got a mystery discount, claim my deal. Or they can click on no thanks, I'll already pay full price, which people are not going to do. So they're going to click on claim my deal. So this step is what we call the micro yes step, where we first want to ask for their permission, and then they're way more likely to actually fill in the email address in the second step. Trust me, we've split tested this many times. This just works. So the next step is the email opt-in, where we say, claim your mystery discount, enter your email here. So that's the input field. Again, a big call to action button, claim my deal or no thanks, already pay full price. And by the way, if people click on no thanks, it will close form. Next up, if you do SMS, we have an SMS opt-in in here as well, which is a multi-step form. Always make sure to use a multi-step form and don't ask for and the email address and the phone number in the same step. Because in that case, people need to fill in both. So let's say people only want to give the email address, but not the phone number. You won't have either of them. So you want to make sure that you first ask for the email address. So you already got that one. Then you can ask for the phone number. So say one last step, enter your phone number here. Again, they can click on claim my deal. So people think they have to fill in the phone number to get the mystery discount, which is not the case because already got the email address. So you can already email them the mystery discount. And then finally, we have the success page where you say your discount is on its way. Check your inbox for the confirmation message with your discount code. Didn't receive an email within 5 minutes, check your promotions folder or spam box. So let's say you have email deliverability issues. It's really important to mention so people won't email you, but they will check the promotions folder or the spam box. And there's a lot of debate in the scene whether you should give away discount code on this page or in your email. Well, I'm on the team where I say that you should give it away in your welcome series email. So people are more likely to open this email instead of using discount code and buying straight away. You want to make sure that new email subscribers open your first email. Otherwise, it just sends a bad message to inbox providers like Gmail and Hotmail, and it can just blow up your whole email marketing system. So yeah, I'm a big fan of giving away discount code in your welcome email. And this is just a really good example of a high converting sign-up form. The mystery discount angle is one of my personal favorites, especially if you don't want to give away a too high of a discount. So let's say you want to give away 5% off, then in general, it works way better to just use the mystery discount angle. So this is a simple example of a high converting pop-up form. And by the way, I have a full tutorial on how to create a high converting sign-up form from scratch on my YouTube channel. So definitely make sure to check out that video if you want to know more about this full in depth. And I'll also make sure to link it in the description below. Now let's talk about email flows. First, let me explain you what email flows are and why they're so important for your e-commerce store. Email flows or email automations are sequences of emails that you can send to your email subscribers based on a certain event that they did. So this is different from email campaigns, which are just one-off sends that you send to your email list. So email flows are way more personalized emails that you send based on an activity that this person did on your website. So in general, they will convert a lot better compared to your email campaigns. And the beauty of this is that it's basically a sales team that runs 24/7 on autopilot. Once you've set up those flows, it will run on the background and it will create predictable revenue for your store. And these email flows typically account for 30 to 50% of your total email revenue. And these are the 9 essential flows that I would recommend if you were to start out an e-commerce brand and start building your email marketing system. First of all, we have your welcome series. So this is a flow that you send to new email subscribers. So they've seen your sign-up form, they've entered the email address, and now they will receive this flow. So you want to make sure that you give away the discount code that you've promised them. You want to build trust with them, and you want to make sure that you're going to do their first purchase at your store. Second flow is the site abandonment flow. So this is a flow that we send to people who have been on your website, but not on a product page. So they're very early in the customer journey. And the only thing that we want to do with this flow is that we want to act as their shop assistant. So we want to get them further down your website. So guide them towards different product categories or collections, or to your bestsellers or new arrivals. That's generally a good idea with this flow. The next flow is the browse abandonment flow. So with this flow, we want to retarget so-called window shoppers. So the people who have been on a product page, but they didn't add it to the cart. And this happens all the time where people are comparing your products versus the products of your competitors. So really, they are window shoppers. So with this flow, it's very important to showcase what are the USPs of your brand and your specific products. You should overcome their objections, and you want to make sure that they go back to the website, to their product page, and that they add the product to their cart. The next flow is the cart abandonment flow, and I think everyone already knows this flow. So this is a flow where we will retarget the people who've added a product to the cart, but they didn't start the checkout phase. So again, with this flow, it's really important to overcome their objections. So what's the reason that someone has added a product to the cart, but they didn't start the checkout? Think about that and talk about that in this flow. Next flow is the checkout abandonment flow. So this is a flow that we send to people who add a product to the cart. They did start the checkout, but they didn't finish it. So they didn't fill in all their details. So they didn't complete the purchase. So again, think about what are the potential reasons that people start a checkout but don't finish it. Talk about that in your flow, and then this flow will recover a lot of lost sales. Next up is the post-purchase flow. So this is a flow that we send to people right after the purchase. And the goal of this flow, first of all, is to reduce buyer's remorse, to reduce the returns that you potentially get with your store, to build excitement for the upcoming delivery, to give them information about the product that they've ordered, and to cross-sell them with different items to boost their customer lifetime value. So this flow is really important for the post-purchase experience of your new customer. And of course, you want to make sure that you make a split between new customers and returning customers. The next flow is the replenishment reminder, and this flow is especially useful for consumable goods like skincare brands. So let's say you've sold someone a skincare product that only lasts for 30 days. Now after 25 days, you can already send them an email with, hey, almost done with your product, click here to reorder it again. So it's an automatic reminder for them to buy a product again, and this just works really, really well. Improve your customer lifetime value and to turn first-time buyers into a returning customer. And in addition to that, you always want to make sure that you also have a customer win-back flow. So this flow will typically send anywhere between the 60 to 120 days, and you will send this flow to people who haven't bought during the time frame from you again. So you want to win back those customers. And again, this is really vital, especially for getting those first-time buyers to buy again from your brand. Because after someone has purchased like 3-4 times for your brand, it's quite easy to get them back to your store. But getting from the first purchase to the second purchase, that's the most difficult part for an e-commerce brand. And a custom win-back flow can definitely help with that. And the last flow that you should have in place is the sunset unengaged flow. And this is a flow that won't generate any revenue for your brand. But with this flow, you will target the people who have been unengaged with your emails and your website in the last 90 to 120 days. And the goal of this flow is to find out if you you can re-engage them. And if not, you can automatically suppress them from your Klaviyo account. And this will be good for your email deliverability, and it will also lower the cost of your Klaviyo plan, because you can now downgrade your plan because you have less active profiles. So this will save you some Klaviyo costs. So if you're just starting out, I would recommend to focus on the first 6 flows that I've just discussed. So from the welcome series through the post-purchase flow, because these will make the biggest impact immediately for your store. And after a while, you can add the other 3 flows that I mentioned. And in Klaviyo, creating these flows is really straightforward. So when you're in your Klaviyo account, in the left menu, you can go to flows. And then in the top right corner, you can hit create flow. And then Klaviyo will already give you some recommendations on flows that you should have in place. So for example, over here we see start with the essentials. So start with these flows to increase revenue and engagement with little effort. So you can already see the browse abandonment flow that we discussed, the customer winback flow, customer thank you flow, which is your post-purchase flow, the welcome series, and a post-purchase follow-up. And of course, you can also create your flows from scratch. So if you go all the way up, you can click on build your own and create your own flow in here. So let's say we want to build a welcome series flow. We say welcome series test, we hit create flow. Now you can select the trigger for this flow. So for the welcome series flow, it's added to list, as you can see in here, which is one of the most popular triggers. And then you need to select which list will trigger this flow. So in this case, the newsletter list. And then you can set up some profile filters and you can hit save. So profile filters are basically exclusions that you can make. So let's say someone has joined your welcome series flow, but after email 1, this person has done a purchase. In that case, you want to make sure that this person won't receive the rest of your welcome series flow, because that doesn't make sense. You want this person to receive the post-purchase flow and not the rest of your welcome series flow. So you can do that by setting up profile filters. So in this case, you can click on add profile filter, select a condition that someone has done. Person has placed order 0 times since starting this flow. Hit save. Now we have the profile filter, placed order 0 times since starting this flow. If someone has done a purchase, they've placed an order at least once. So they won't go through the filter and they won't receive the rest of this flow. So that's the goal of a profile filter. So once you've set it up, you can hit save, confirm and save. And now you got your welcome series flow. So now we can add an email on here in the left menu. We can drag in an email. So that will be email 1. Always make sure to, if you select email, scroll down. To turn off smart sending, I like to turn it off for all flows and to enable UTM tracking and hit save. So smart sending will make sure that if someone has received an email from your brand in the last X hours, you can set it up in your Klaviyo settings. By default, it's on 16 hours. So let's say someone has received an email from you in the last 16 hours. They can't receive the flow that you're about to send them. And of course, with email flows, since those are so important, you don't want to have this. So I always like to turn off smart sending for email flows. And you want to make sure UTM tracking is enabled so you can track the performance in Google Analytics as well. But then we hit save and then we have email 1 and then you can add like time delays and more emails just like this. So this is how you can build flows inside Klaviyo. So you can build it from scratch or you can use one of the default templates that Klaviyo gives you. And the beauty of email flows is that you set them up once and they will run on the background 24/7 for your brand. So it all runs on autopilot, and especially for new Shopify stores, these flows can account for 30 to 50% of your email revenue. So it's really vital to have all these flows in place. Now let's talk about email campaigns. So while email flows are automated, email campaigns are one-off sends that you do yourself. And these email campaigns are vital to make sure your brand stays top of mind within your target audience. And of course, they will drive consistent sales for your store. Some e-commerce brands rather like to call campaigns newsletters, but it's basically the same. It's just Klaviyo's name is campaigns. They're just a one-off send to your email list. For new Shopify stores, I would recommend to start sending 2 to 3 times a week. And here's a simple campaign calendar that you can stick with. So on Tuesday, you send an educational/value-based email, so no hard selling. On Thursday, you do a product showcase. So this is a soft sell. And then on Saturday, you do a promotional email. So this is a hard sell with a discount in it. And of course, this is only applicable when you're running a sale. And if you're not running a sale, I would recommend to replace this with a value-based email again. And here are some examples of email campaigns without a discount that just works really, really well. So we have testimonials, user-generated content, press mentions, media publications, blog/article highlights, research highlights, myths debunked, frequently asked questions, trending products, best-selling products, new arrivals, staff picks, back in stock, bundle promotions, the essentials that people need, gift guides, gift yourself, feature highlight, benefit highlight, us versus them, the problem solution angle, the before after angle, behind the scenes, how to use your product, how is your product made, tips and tricks, sneak peek, recent developments, brand USPs, brand story, founder story, meet the team, and of course we got the holidays. So these are all angles, email campaigns that you can send without giving away a discount and without hard selling your product. And creating a campaign in Klaviyo is really simple. So let me show you. So in your Klaviyo account, you go to campaigns in the left menu. And then in the top right corner, you can click on create campaign. And then first of all, you can select the name of the campaign and the draft date. And you can select whether it's an email, SMS, or push. In this case, it's an email, so hit continue. Then first of all, you need to select your audience. So what's the segment? And we will talk about segmentation in a second. You can turn on or turn off smart sending. And as mentioned before, for flows, I like to turn it off. But for campaigns, I like to turn it on. Also like to turn on UTM tracking. And then we hit next. We need to select a list. So let's select the newsletter list for now. Hit next. Then this is the place where, first of all, you can select your subject line and your preview text, which are really important, your sender name and your sender email address. And then on the right side, you can select the email template that you want to start with. And you can also view an email library. So if you click on that, you see some examples that Klaviyo has added in here. So what you can do is just take a look at these examples. So you have like a foundation to start with. So let's see if you see something that's nice. So for example, this one looks nice, and then you can see how it looks on desktop and you can see how it looks on mobile, which is also important. And let's say this is a template that you like, you can select use template, and then we'll get inside Klaviyo's drag and drop builder. So again, it's really easy to make an email campaign because we now have a foundation. So over here we have the header bar with the logo, so you can simply replace this with your logo. This is an image that you can replace with an image that you made. And then over here we have like text blocks. So you can fully customize this the way you want, and you can add text in here. Same with here with the body copy, you can change this. So you even have like call to action buttons in here that you can fully customize with the color, with the rounding, the curve of the call to action button, with the width. So you can make full width or not. So the possibilities are basically endless with this drag and drop editor. And of course you can also add in like new things. So over here we have like the building blocks, so text blocks, image blocks, splits if you want to have like columns, buttons, header bars, drop shadows, you name it. Everything is basically possible with Klaviyo's drag and drop builder. So you can easily make an email campaign from scratch or with one of these templates in just a couple of minutes. What I really want to emphasize is that the most important thing is when you start running email campaigns is consistency. It's way better to consistently send 2 campaigns a week than just send 5 emails in week 1 and then in week 2 you're not sending any emails. You need to be consistent so your target audience will keep your brand top of mind, and it will also send a way worse signal to the inbox providers like Gmail and Outlook when you're very inconsistent. Also for them it's really important to stay consistent with your email campaign schedule. Now, finally, let's talk about segmentation and email deliverability. Now, let me tell you a secret about email segmentation, something that most email marketing gurus won't tell you. Segmentation is very easy. You don't have to overcomplicate it, especially if you're just starting out. And you might hear about all these complex segmentation strategies with micro segments. The truth is that for 99% of the new e-commerce businesses, you only need one main segment. And this is your 90 days engaged segment. So this segment includes everyone who has engaged with your emails or with your website in the last 90 days. That's it. So you're only sending emails to people who have engaged with your brand in the last 3 months. Those are the people who have the most likelihood to actually buy from your brand. So there's no reason to come up with those micro segments with only 200 people in it. That's not going to give you the highest return on investment. First of all, let me show you how you can make this segment yourself in Klaviyo. So in your Klaviyo account, in the left menu, you can go to lists and segments. And then in the top right corner, you can select create new. And then we select create segment. And let's call this engaged 90 days. Now we can select conditions to craft this segment, and we can do this based on numerous conditions, like if someone can or cannot receive marketing, what someone has done, someone's proximity to a location, if someone is or not is in the list, if someone is or not is within the European Union, properties about someone, and even predictive analytics about someone. So a lot of possibilities to craft your segment in here. But for this segment, it's going to be pretty easy. So first of all, person can receive email marketing, really important to know. Then we're going to add a condition, make sure it's on and, not on or, because this is like a condition that has to meet anyhow, despite the other conditions. Then I'm going to select what someone has done. Person has opened email at least once in the last 90 days. Then we're going to hit this duplicate button and leave it on or. And then we're going to select clicked email at least once in the 90 days. Then I'm going to duplicate it again and say placed order at least once in the last 90 days. Then we're going to duplicate it again. And then we're going to say active on site at least once in the last 90 days. So we say if someone has opened or clicked the email in one of the last 90 days, or if someone has placed an order or has been active on your website in general in the last 90 days, then they will be in this 90 days engaged segment. And that's exactly what we want. So now we hit create segment, and now Klaviyo is going to build this segment. This can take 30 seconds to 1 minute, and then this segment will show up in your list and segment page in here. As you can see, it's queued for processing right now. Once it's done, it will show the amount of members in here. So it's very easy to make such a segment in Klaviyo. So I would highly encourage you to just focus on this segment when you're sending your email campaign. And the reason why this segment works so well is that people who have opened your emails recently are way more likely to open your next email again. So by focusing on this engaged segment, you will send a way better signal to the inbox providers like Gmail and Outlook, because now they will think that your emails are wanted and liked by your email subscribers, because you're just sending to the people who are opening your emails. So never make the mistake to just blast your emails to the entire email list. Just focus on your 90 days engaged segment. And that brings me into email deliverability. So the goal of your email marketing, of course, is to make sure that your emails are landing in the primary inbox or the promotions folder and not in the spam box. And the main KPI to look for is your open rate. And the goal should be to have an open rate of 45% to 60% plus. And if it drops below the 40 to 30%, then you know you're having email deliverability issues. So there are 5 simple steps to improve your email deliverability. First of all, your technical setup. So you want to make sure that you use a branded sending domain and that you set up a proper authentication, so a DMARC record. And this is even now required by Google and Yahoo. So you need to make sure that you got this technical setup in place. And don't worry, on my YouTube channel, I have multiple videos on email deliverability, and this shows you in detail how to set up this technical setup. So make sure to check out the rest of my YouTube channel. Second step is to send quality emails, because in the end, inbox providers like Gmail, they only care about one thing, and it's not your e-commerce brand. It's the users, the user experience. So if they notice that their users are happy and more likely to open your emails, then they are way more likely to send your emails to the primary inbox. But if they notice that your emails are less likely to be opened, then Gmail is way more likely to send your emails to the spam folder. So in the end, it's all about the quality of your email content. People are happy about it. If they're excited about it to open your emails, this will send a positive signal to Gmail. Then your emails are more likely to be sent to the primary inbox. The third step is to clean your list regularly. Make sure to get rid of people who've been on your email list for over a year, but they've never received an email. Make sure to get rid of the people who've marked your email as spam, and make sure to get rid of bounced emails. So after 1 hard bounce or after 4 soft bounces, you want to get rid of them as soon as possible. Again, I made a full email deliverability tutorial on this. It will show you this in full detail. The next step is to build up your email reputation. So if you notice that with a 90 days engaged segment, you're still not getting 45% plus open rates, you should start with the 30 days engaged segment. And then see if your open rates are going 50% up or higher. And if it happens, then after 2 weeks, you can expand to 60 days. Again, see if your open rates are still 50% or up. And then after 2 weeks, you can expand it again to 90 days engaged. Now you've built up your email reputation, and now you can use your 90 day segment as your main segment. And the last tip is to balance your text versus images. I'm not trying to say that you can't use image only emails, because we also use that for our own clients, but you want to make sure that there's also some HTML in your emails that inbox providers like Gmail and Yahoo can crawl for. So you want to make sure, for example, in the footer section, there's some real text in there. That's like a quick tip, a quick hack that we use for our own clients. And this will allow us and allow Gmail to read something about your email, especially with like the modern spam filters that they have. They can even read the images that they use. So there's no need to only use text, but definitely use some tips and tricks to balance images versus text. And that's it. So the beauty of this approach is that it's simple and effective. So you don't need overcomplicated segmentation strategies to like get good results with your email marketing. You just want to focus on sending good emails to people who are likely to open your emails. That's it. And there you have it. A complete roadmap to take your new e-commerce brand from $0 to $1 million of revenue, all with a proper email marketing system. So to recap, set up Klaviyo as your email platform, create a high converting sign-up form to convert as many website traffic into your email list, implement the most essential email flows for your e-commerce brand, focus on value-based emails first, and 5, keep your segmentation simple with just sending emails to your 90 days engaged segment, or go even lower if you're having email deliverability issues. If you start with these fundamentals, you're ahead of the game of 90% of the e-commerce brands out there. And of course, if your brand starts growing, you can add more advanced email marketing strategies to bump up the revenue even more. Now, I know this video just scratches the surface. It's pretty high level. We just covered the basics to get you started. But there's much more to learn about email marketing than just this video. And that's why I created a free comprehensive course on email marketing, which is a 3.5-hour video that's on my YouTube channel. And this course will dive deep into every single pillar that I've discussed in this video. So make sure to click on the link in the description to watch this free course. And of course, don't forget to give a like to this video if you liked it. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want more weekly tips on how to improve your email marketing for your e-commerce brand. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.